Hey, hey, hey. Hey, okay. Out to the pay, for the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it. Okay, out to the pay, for the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it.
What does the future look like for your podcast?
Once again, thank you for everybody that's coming out. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo is showing up for amazing artists. We know this is an art city, and this is what we love. I can guarantee everybody in here is an artist of some kind. I'm hoping that you take something away from this conversation. He introduced his amazing panel. Also, one of the Buffalo's own, Bille Essco. Man, it needs no introduction. So to get started and just get a good idea of like who is sitting in front of us, how did you get your start in music and like the music industry of music, the business of music?
Well, for me, I was just singing happy birthday for everybody in my family. I didn't think anything of it really. I sang happy birthday for my brother when I was 4 years old, and ever since I was singing happy birthday for everybody in my family. I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban, we got a big ass family, and I was singing happy birthday pretty often, and I didn't think I was any better than anybody when I was singing at all. I thought everyone could sing at 4 years old, you know what I'm saying? I just thought, you know, you just had to love doing what you're doing, and the rest was history. I ended up learning how to produce, record, write my own songs and all. For these questions, we're gonna go down to Billie, and then we can pass the mic down this way.
Alright, what's up, y'all? So it's like a two-part answer. So I first started making music. It was just like a hobby, kind of like my homies they booked the studio session. It was just like the thing to do. That's when like Benny, so everybody familiar with Benny and the success of Griselda. When I was in high school, I used to listen to Benny in like grammar school and stuff. And just kind of like when I first started rapping, it was literally like just to be with my friends. And then an experience happened in my life that kind of transitioned my entire life. My aunt passed away, and when she passed away at the funeral, I ended up meeting my cousin, who was like since a long time collaborator. His name is Camouflage Monk. So when I met him at the funeral, he took me to the studio and he showed me 23isback.com, which is like a Jordan sneaker website. And those two things like literally changed my life. Like it was literally that or just being the street as a kid, and I met him, changed it. And then as a 14-year-old kid, we kind of excelled fast. I had a studio when I was like 15 years old. We knew how to record. We was going on little mini tours. We was even subjected to sign to like DMX's like label called Bloodline, which was like a never actually, you know, came to fruition. But I ain't take it serious. Honestly, I ain't take it serious at all. And just through trial and tribulation and not trying to just work a 9 to 5, I just kept doing music, and we would kept making little inklets. And then like 2009, 10, if y'all familiar with Buffalo, y'all know the music scene. For the ones that's not here, like 2009, 10, 11 was like when the Wizzes and the Smoke Dizzers would come through town, and it'd be like local acts, but like there was no pipeline. This was before Griselda, so there was no pipeline. And 2012 happened. We kind of fizzled out. Everybody started to get jobs. It went from like everybody's 19, 20, 21, just everybody's doing it because it's free. And then everybody life hits. So we gotta go get jobs, and people go away for school, people start having kids. No, so this is before, so I'm 35, so this is like 2009, 10. So it's like pre-internet, you feel me, and it's Buffalo, which is like Dipset era, in the internet era. It was just two different time frames. So 2012 happens and like West comes into fruition, and he started working from the outside. At the same time, it was stuff like South by Southwest, A3C, all of these like little events that was happening that like is now a thing, and for people that was out of town, like they would go. Like I would go to LA for like Coachella or for like different things to just explore the music, and then Griselda blows, and then everything else kind of goes from that. So that was kind of like a long-winded way of saying how I made music, but just to get y'all seen the like from a kid to now type shit.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? So basically, I got my start real early. I was in a music group, boy group, when I was about 12 years old. I joined, and we really started on like the early wave of social media when Instagram first started getting popping, and even streaming too. I was on this thing called YouNow for years, and it was like YouNow was popping for a second. So we really got our start there, and we were able to take that on the road. Did a few tours in Europe, all over the States. And it just went into actually making real music, putting it out there, doing our own tours here. And that's really it. The social media game changed the music life for us, for sure. Yeah, man.
So I started singing before I could have a full sentence. I came from a very Christian Pentecostal household. My grandma had us singing in church very young. But it was around like 14 years old, like when, y'all remember Instagram had like 15-second videos before they had, so I used to do like covers on Instagram on my piano, and those started doing really well. And for like 4 or 5 years, I was doing that consistently. And then at 16 years old, I got reached out by a talent person, and she asked if I wanted to audition for the Apollo. They were trying to reboot the Apollo Theater on Fox 5. And at that time, again, I'm a Christian, younger, don't know nothing about the industry, don't really know nothing outside of church. And I don't even think I ever knew what Apollo Theater was, like that stage. But I said yes, I just went with it. And I got to be on the reboot, and it was the most beautiful, amazing experience ever. And that's what started off a career that I didn't even know I really wanted to be in.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, damn. I'm Mike, Mike B. I started with rap, I guess. I'm from California, Los Angeles, California originally. Hey, West, you know. But I moved out here in August due to some circumstances for work and stuff like that. But what's cool is, you know, music brings people together. It started for me like when I was 14 or 13, 14, 15. I went to Van Nuys High School, which is back in California. And Van Nuys, yeah. Yeah, the Valley, yeah. You know, being an Asian kid growing up in that time, I'm 37 years old, so I think some of y'all can relate, but it was a different time. You know, you had to find music, you had to, you know, you didn't have Spotify, SoundCloud, or these streaming services. YouTube was just beginning. But, you know, we had MySpace for sure. Yeah, top 8, yeah. For sure, but, yeah, top 20? Oh man, clap it up a little, man, one time, yeah. Talk about aim days. Aim days, yeah, for sure. But I started with a group, you know, I think what's cool about music and going back to the community aspect of it is you know, I just wanted to like write raps for girls, bro, like that, to be honest, when I started. You know, I was a shy little Asian kid from California, you know, I know how to express myself, and I did it through the pen, you know, and you know, I sucked at first, and I wasn't good at all, but then I started figuring it out. I started, you know, exploring different genres within the genre that I loved, which was hip-hop, R&B at the time, soul, and then what's cool about music is the discovery part, and so long story short, I went to school for music at MI, which is like a musicians institute, and that's kind of where I got to, like my first. I got to meet people within that space. You know, it was expensive, which, you know, I'm sure you guys can relate. You know, school is expensive, but what was cool was the community. So I got to meet like Anderson .Paak there. I got to meet. He was actually like. What's cool about that is he was teaching and he was going to school at the same time, and he was on tour, and I was like, bro, this guy's doing everything, and he's drumming, it was just crazy, which is cool to watch. He was teaching at the school because he was like so good at the percussions. He was doing PIT, I think it was PIT at the time, and but you know, why I say this is there was a small little collective of people that kind of gravitated towards that kind of music, and I was lucky enough to be a part of that space and circle. So, you know, long story short, you know, writing, I got better at it, you know, day at a time, and I got to write with these guys in the studio, and you know, I got to learn a lot watching other people work in the studio. I think everybody has their own process and approach to how they work on music. Music is therapeutic, right? And it's also a way of connecting with other people. So like learning and seeing that aspect. Also seeing Justin in the studio, which is, this dude is incredible. Like I remember how we met was, I think it was through like Eli, yeah. Eli, which was, you know, someone, he was like, yo, he put us in the studio together, and we banged out, I think, a few records, which I think is still pretty damn good, but we gotta revisit those. But you know, I think, you know, to keep it, you know, I think community is something that we all long for, and music is such a great way to do it, because it's a great way to express yourself in all the different ethnic backgrounds that we grew up in. Buffalo, you know, honestly, I came here on a whim last August, and the winter really fucked me up out here. I was like, bro, I'm from Canada. I was like, yeah.
I'm from Jersey too.
Yeah. But I think why I say this is really cool, because this is my first like outing outside of work, which I work at like a cannabis shop, which is pretty cool too. But I do want to work on music again, and I've been working, girl. I've been stacking some bread because it's crazy out here. But
I got some discounted cards for any of my cannabis users.
Yeah.
Pay him a visit, take the cards out.
Yeah, I got some vouchers for everybody, for like $10 vouchers. Justin was kind enough, so if you guys, you know, I'll pass it out. But anyways, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but Buffalo's cool because the people that I feel like there's a very strong community here, and a sense of community out here, and I'm just getting to experience that myself. But I think the music scene is crazy. He called me like a week ago. Yeah, and he was like, yeah, bro, I need you to speak on this panel. I was like, I haven't done music in a minute, bro. You know? But what's cool is it'll always call you back. If it's something that you're passionate about, you can always continue to find people that pull you back into it. And so I'm very grateful to be here. I'm sorry to hog the mic. I'm gonna pass this shit over.
Yes, sir. My name is Cash Ali. I'm from Pacoima, California. And first of all, before I give anybody my story, anything like that, I want to thank all of the judges. Everybody's story is amazing, individual, and it just feels so real up here. So, yeah, I rap, I dance, I act. I'm just an artist in general. I have the opportunity of being up here through a simple story post off Instagram. It can literally, you could just post something and it happens. I posted one of his songs and met him through that. That's why I'm here. When it comes to my music or anything that I do on social media, I've been an artist like all my life, but I never showed nobody until late. Like when I was like 19, I decided to, you know, let me show people that I can do something. And then I just started going crazy and just started experiencing myself as an artist. I started going viral off of regular freestyle clips, and just utilize those moments to build a career where I can, you know, make money off of those, you know? So social media pretty much was just the tool that changed my life. It was like everybody has a story, broken home, you're an artist, you make music, but some of us, probably all of us, try to get up on social media and do something. That was pretty much my whole story. I just got on social media, hit some followers, hit some views, and I just started capitalizing off of that, making my way through, you know, connections here and there, and just building off of any view that I got. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know what you said, but fuck you. You do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? So, I was putting out hella freestyles, and then I got connected to the right people who was a part of World Star. World Star had posted me one of my freestyles that went crazy on World Star the same day. Chris Brown posted me, and that was like my favorite artist growing up, still my favorite artist to this day. If you don't like Chris Brown, we gonna have to get down outside. I'm just playing. But yeah, Chris Brown pretty much changed everything, you know. And just from those moments of virality, I just built and formed a family with my fan base. And just since then, I've been rocking, meeting other artists, going to events, being on panels, being on everything, and just sharing love, giving love, and you know what I'm saying, spreading your gospel. Yeah, that's why we're here.
Where y'all all got dope stories, and as a up and coming artist, people trying to get to where y'all at, what was probably one of your biggest misconceptions or the biggest illusion of the music industry when you first came in? I started with Essco.
Yeah, we will start.
One of the biggest misconceptions, I think, I don't know, I had an interesting progression with the music. Like, I was always too early or like kind of late. You feel me? Like, I would do things very early that would be just like something I would be interested in, whether it's a sound that I'm trying to play with, or the way we transition songs, or the titling, just something with the music for what I can experiment with. And then like, kind of leave it to the side, because again, I always did my art for life more than for like the progression of it, until I got older, until I started seeing the value. And then like, I came up in a time where everything I did was right before it popped on the internet, just because the internet was kind of growing. So like, even the ways of like how social media was like used to like kind of promote something, it wasn't tangible at the times where I had the wherewithal to do it. So then when I would double back, it would be either late or I'd just be in my own space. So I kind of navigated my own lane, and from that, it allowed me to stay in my own conception of what I felt, which was like, I like doing music for what I like doing music for. I'll do business when it's time to do business. I think the biggest misconception is like connections. Like, it's, at the end of the day, it's like real people and then it's business people. Then you got some people that just ain't real. But for the most part, for me, I've met, and like LA, as y'all can all attest, like I've been to LA from both sides of LA, where it's like the real side and then there's the Hollywood side. You feel me? And like, that's a skill of its own that like, we in Buffalo, we don't have to go through that lens, because nobody really know how, like no one's over the hump. So it's like, we kind of all live in our own illusion of what it is, because nobody has defined what exactly it is. But like going out of town and traveling, it showed me like, okay, I'm born from a real place so I can find real people. And I feel like the biggest misconception as I'm talking through is a lot of people think they gotta like code switch to like fit into the industry, and it's like, you could find people that's like-minded, you feel me? It's just, what type, you know, what are you playing? Are you playing the business side, or are you playing the real side? And either way is cool, like get your money or do what you gotta do. I ain't, you know, encouraging or discouraging anybody in a path, but I just say from my experience, it's been like, people think like the industry is all fake. And it's like, nah, you get some real people. Like, I came out here on some real love. Like, cause I got real love for Brandon and what he doing. You feel me? Same reason why I'm here, in a different light. And then you got the Hollywood shit where you go in and it's like, I want to be your friend because I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to get your light and stuff like that. So I feel like you just got to know where you stand and where you want to stand around. So I feel like that was something I had to learn also.
I think the biggest misconception for me was really like the time that it takes, really. I was told a lot, like when I was younger, that there's artists that are grinding for 10 plus years and it could take 10 plus years. And to me, being a young kid, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm ready to go right now. And that's how everybody is. They're ready to go right from the jump. But now being in it 10 plus years, it's like, that's exactly what it takes. It takes that time. It takes that time to really figure out who you are as an artist and where you're really trying to go. And that's what I learned from the most, is really putting in that grind, putting in that work, trying your hardest, and navigating through all the different changes that come with the music business, because it's like an everlasting change through the music business. There's all these different apps, there's all these different moments that you gotta catch, and you might think that you're at your peak at some point, and you wanna ride that out as long as you can, but really I feel like it's adapting and really reinventing yourself through all of that stuff.
The biggest misconception, right? You think that when you get these plaques and when you get these awards, that things change, and they do. They do for sure. Specific doors open and whatnot. But let's talk about the Grammy for a second. I was 18, 19, like 18, 19 years old. I never wrote a song for anybody else. That was probably the first record that I like really wrote for anybody else. Went to the Grammys, I brought my mom. I'm around all these celebrities, celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. My mom did not know how to act at the Grammys. I'm like, Mom, please act like you've been here, okay? Yeah. People thought I had all the answers, and I didn't. I don't know how I did it. I was just doing my best. I was just going. You know, I was just, I believed in her and her talent, and I knew the record was special. I didn't expect anything because my music career was doing well, but I wasn't collecting any of my money. I had all these followers, but I was broke as fuck. I got 100 and whatever thousand followers, but I got $5 in my bank account. If all of my followers sent me $1, I'd probably be doing a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest misconception is thinking that just because someone has something don't mean they know something. Maybe God put them in that position for a specific reason, and only God knows that reason. And this person might think they know the reason as well, and they might think they're super uber talented, but my message is really just to tell y'all that y'all are just a chance away, a fuck it away from everything that you think you want. And I guess that's another thing. Like, there's a lot of things that you think you want, and until you have it and you're ready for more, and you're just taking all this time not necessarily appreciating every moment and success that is coming your way because you want to do so much better. And I do want to speak to men specifically, right? Because a lot of us don't really have real father figures and like male role models, you know? A lot of us don't really have that. And I'm not counting the women out at all, because there's a lot of women that go through the same thing. But for men specifically, I do want to say, like, just go and get it. on your own time. It's cool to be cool. I was just telling my man that. It's cool to be humble. It's cool to learn. You know, I think a lot of our role models nowadays are all these gangsters and fucking everybody who's just rude as fuck for no reason. And you're only gonna attract the same people, and they're gonna take you the wrong ways. Even though they might have all the jewelry and everything you think you want. That's that think you want shit I'm talking about. I would never trade my closet for nobody else. This closet. I love my closet, how it is, as imperfect as it is, as it was, and all that. But yeah, walk in your own shoes and enjoy your own path, you know? And take your own time to really like do this thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I say my answer is a lot like what Kev said. I think I underestimated the time that sometimes is really put in this. When you know you're talented, when you know you have something to offer, I feel like, you know, sometimes you get impatient. The reality is, you know, you feel like, why is people not hearing, you know, my song, or why am I not getting these opportunities that I feel like, you know, I should be at, or whatever. I'm laughing because when I was 16, I did the Apollo. Again, I did not know nothing about the industry, and I feel like when I was making those singing videos and stuff, I went from like 0 to Apollo Theater. And again, I learned what Apollo Theater was from other people. I didn't know how big Apollo was. So when people are telling me like, you're singing at the Apollo and you're gonna be on Fox 5, I'm like, oh, I'm famous. Like, it's lit, like I made it. So I'm in high school, not liking my high school, by the way. And my mom literally served my principal because it was a time, there was a time he was telling my mom, I guess I was causing commotion or whatever, with outfits and thinking, you know, like, oh, like I don't need college no more, like I'm about to be the next whatever the heck. It was horrible. But my mom had to serve literally my principal because I was like, just over with school. That's a whole other story, but over with school, and he was quite frankly bullying me. But you know, I leave high school and I realized maybe I shouldn't go to college because I did want to experience college, but I thought it was going to be faster. I thought that I did the Apollo and I was like, oh yeah, like that's it. But I realized there was more time that had to be put in, and I don't think you really realize that, you know, until you really in the game and see the years that you have to put in. And even just see like some celebrities, their actual stories. If we sit and actually hear like their interviews and stuff, we realize it was not overnight. They have testimonies to tell. And there's a saying that says hard work beats talent, right? That I'm sure we all heard. And I feel like that is something I continuously have to also remind myself, like you could be talented, but there's people out here that are working, and we should all be one of them. If I say nothing else tonight, I will say we are living in a social media dominated time. All my opportunities, quite frankly, and all my connections, because I do believe that is who you know as well, is by posting. Post your talent, post your content, like, and I don't do a good, today I'm standing in front of you and I still don't do a good job at that. Years in, I still don't do a good job at that. But come out of your comfort zone, post your content, because everything, every room I've been in, every opportunity have been given, every person that I've spoken to, everything has been literally God first, but off of literally my content on social media. So, and yeah, working hard, exactly, working hard.
These are amazing stories, by the way. Hell yeah, this is dope that we're sharing. The biggest misconception for myself would be kind of piggybacking off of what everybody here is saying, but like, ain't nobody got shit figured out, bro. So what I mean by that is like when you step into these rooms or these label execs or these artists, or that's, you know, predominantly bigger than you are, you're writing for other people. Oh my goodness. Especially the execs, they have no fucking idea what to do. I mean, they do, but it's like, they're looking at, they're looking at the next thing popping and the next artist popping, and they're trying to figure out how they did it. But the thing is you can't replicate originality and authenticity, right? So a lot of the artists that I feel, you know, just like the artists that you see up here and yourselves, and or, you know, the artists you see on the charts and all that stuff, none of them got this shit figured out. This shit is ever changing. If you step into these rooms and have these meetings, they're looking at you and asking you questions like, how did you get to where you got to, or how did you write those records, or, you know, publishing companies will, you know, nobody really knows. Like, it's a wild, wild west. You know, the industry's always changing. But for me, growing up, and I'm sure everybody that's, you know, involved in music, you know, you're like, hey, if I have that one meeting, or if I have that one, you know, the breakthrough, or if I have that one hit record, or, you know, whatever it may be, then I can get into these rooms and speak to these people, and it's gonna all figure itself out. Now, bro, when you step into these rooms, they're just as confused as you on why you're there and how you got there, you know? And I think that just having confidence in knowing why you started this in the first place, because it is a very treacherous and uphill, you know, passionate battle, you know, with music, especially because it's hard to get paid. It's hard to get, you know, recognition. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of things going on. So I definitely do think that the biggest misconception would be, you know, just as much as the people that have those big executive names and in those rooms, you get what I mean? And then they're looking at the next artist. So if you just trust your instinct and gut and do what you need to do, and express yourself how you want to, I think that's really at scale. It'll be more effective than, you know, waiting on the next hit or waiting to sit in the next room to write with this person. You know, I think everything starts snowballing for you when you just fucking go. You know, and every day you just hack away at it. And I think, you know, again, I'm just from experience watching Justin in the studio, and I can't speak for everybody else because I haven't been in the studio with you guys, but just watching this dude, like, I'll tell, like, I think it was me and my producer, we were sitting there and we were like trying to tell him how to sing melodies, and we can't sing for shit. You know what I mean? Like, we really can't sing for shit, but we're like, oh, you should, and then he's like, nah, I got this. And like, he would knock things out in takes and hit, you know, melodies or harmonies that I wouldn't even like fathom to think about, you know. And I was like, oh shit, or like, you know, he would switch up the rhythm on a four count, you know, and every 4 count he'd switch it up. You know, and I'm like, damn. And then he got the fucking John Legend raspiness, you know what I'm saying? Like, to match with. I was like, bro, you can't tell him shit, bro. Let him rock, you know, and we can help. But again, biggest misconception is that I think, you know, you are the next hit record. You know, you are the next big thing, and I think that's what I learned from you know, experience.
Hell yeah. First of all, before I start, Justin is the funnest person to make a record with. Studio sessions with him is the funnest shit in the world. This motherfucker go crazy. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not somebody that need to be pushed though, he's just fun. He can gas any fucking beat. It's an amazing time. Yeah, so when it comes to my personal experience with the biggest misconception, I think that all of us probably in this room have heard before that if it's for you, it'll come to you. It might be with a bitch, excuse my language. It might be with your ex. If she's for you, she'll come back. If the job is for you, that's in my heart. So that's just not how it is. If you do not act on her or on your gift, that shit not coming. You feel me? Like, you're not just gonna randomly get a fucking Grammy from a song. You're not gonna randomly get a beat that you created. You're not gonna randomly just get something because it's for you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you have a talent, you can't just sit on the talent. Somebody's phone is ringing, don't sit on a call. It might be, yeah. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. It's your destiny call. But all I'm trying to say is, from experience, is the only time things have happened that wasn't specifically like ordained by God. Like, I'm a follower of Christ and God has done things for me that I can't explain, but he's also put things in front of my face and he said, act, go. You feel me? And some bingo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just sit on it, you feel me? Pause. But you can't just chill on whatever it is that you have in front of your face. If it's for you, it's gonna happen. Don't believe none of that shit. Go and do everything you have to do to make it happen. It will happen for you if it's for you, but you can't just sit there, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're going through a time that, you know, you think you want her back and you might have fucked it up, go try your best. Go get her some flowers. Females are simple. Just buy her shit and make, you know, great emotional connection. When it comes to your music, work on that shit. Go to the studio, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just not go to the studio. Like she said, you can't just not post. You can't just, no, it's for me, it's coming. It's not. That shit is not coming. Anybody in this room, all of us on this panel, me and Justin, we've had conversations multiple times, like, we gotta get on content. Yeah, get on content then. You feel me? Like, me and you, Brandon, we had conversations ourselves, like, bro, we gotta get to work. You have all this talent with this camera. Put the fucking camera to use, right? Am I right? Put the camera back on you. I'm right, huh? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have to do it. That's my biggest thing, the biggest misconception. If you take anything from it, you have a talent. Everybody in here got something. You know what I'm saying? Podcasting, jewelry. Fuck, you might do head spins. Do that shit. Record it, post it 2 times a day, and it'll work. If not, you just sitting on your talent. That shit will never work, and you'll never be shit. Go work on yourself, for real.
Absolutely, that's some great advice from some knowledgeable people. We all know that art is something we love, but we also know it's a business. So when you're in the studio with somebody, how do you approach splits? What's a way to do it so it doesn't interrupt the vibe? How do you make it an approachable way where it's like, yo, I don't need to be compensated for my participation in this thing?
With splits, yeah, I think it from my experience, it always depended on like how close I was with the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is literally just a business shit that I just came in here, someone paid me to write a song, this is my rate type shit. But I feel personally that I'm gonna ask you for whatever I feel that I did. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you've ever been to writing camps, you do writing camps and shit like that. A lot of writing camps, it might be like, you know you're going to a writing camp, and if you have a bar and you say one line, you're connected to a certain percentage of that. Or if you go negotiate or something. It's always different. But from my experience, it's always been like my comfortability with a person. And if I worked a lot on the song, if we made a song together, and I wrote all that shit, but you did a couple lines, I'm gonna be like, bro, we're gonna do 65, you get the rest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like it always just depends on the situation, and how well you guys know each other and how much you worked. But I'm pretty sure everybody's answer might be different because they might have a situation that might have been straight 50-50, straight 60-40, you know? It always depends. But I think it depending on your guys' situation, how much work you put in is what you should do your splits on.
That's a great answer, man. Hell yeah. Clap it up for that. I learned very quickly. So like, I grew up with working with friends, right? At first, so anything we did, we were just like, yo, split that shit down the middle, right? So if it's 3 of us, we split that shit down the middle, right? So it's like 33, 33, 33. If it's 2 people, which, you know, it's 50-50. And you know, we just never thought about the business aspect of things growing up. And I think it was like towards when I met Justin, we're doing a lot of like sessions because our publisher was like, hey, you know, he's throwing us in the rooms with like a bunch of artists just to see what hits and what doesn't. They were throwing us like we did like a a thing in Nashville, which was like a country songwriting camp. We weren't supposed to be there at all because that's not like our. It's definitely different. We did, and you know, and I know, but I was saying during that time, like when I was working, you know, jumping in rooms with new artists, because before it was just like you in your room, or you know, you with a producer homie, or you know, or you with, you know, whoever it may be, but it's just, it starts small. And very quickly, like later when I actually got my first break on a record, I was lucky enough to work with like the Free Nationals, but I grew up with these guys. Like I grew up with these guys literally like when we were going to, we couldn't afford meals. Like we all couldn't afford meals. We're partying, we're in Koreatown or wherever it was in LA. But Anderson Paak too, he was broke as shit. He was fucking biking around, going to the studio. But all of us were all putting into this pot, you know, and we didn't speak about it. It was like, until we had to, until lawyers got involved, and you know, and things got icky and all that, because everyone kind of felt, you know, oh, I wrote this much of it, like I should be getting this much, or, you know, you're entitled, you know, you feel entitled to it, and rightfully so, because if somebody is shooting 90% of the buckets and they're making it, and then there's like, you know, a bunch of other people just sitting around, you know, you're gonna feel away. Yeah, but what we came to realize was, especially for me, because I'm not a part of that group, but I wrote heavily on that first album. So I wrote like 4 records on that album, which they were trying to kick me off the records, you know, because they were trying to pay me off on the records, right? Like, and not give me my splits or whatever, and so I had to fight for that, and I was like, you know, I grew up with you motherfuckers, you know, like, oh shit, you know. But again, it's like my ego, because I was like, bro, it's a blessing to be in those rooms with these people, because I didn't deserve to be in that room, you know, but I was, and luckily, you know, the producer or the engineer was like, yo, hop on and make some runs, and you know, those records hit maybe like 3 years later, right? So like I didn't even think about those records, right? And what's cool is that, you know, I think when it comes to splits, if you have an understanding with your homie or whatnot, and it's you know, it's a given, and you're like, hey, whatever we work, we split down the middle, because that's how I work with my producer always. Doesn't matter who wrote what, you know, who made what, but you know, we're both putting time into that thing and energy into that thing. So, you know, I think getting that out early, and then also having your lawyers or whoever it is, you know, if you don't have lawyers or managers, that's cool, but like having them do that work for you, because it does get awkward sometimes when you have to discuss splits and stuff, unless y'all are real, you know, down-ass homies, and you're just like, hey, whatever, you know, let's split down the middle, you know? Exactly, right. So, you know, I learned very quickly, you know, which I'm very grateful for, and to be a part of, you know, some of those records. But like, I think, again, you know, if someone had kind of told me ahead of time, like, yo, get your paperwork right, or at least get somebody that can look over your paperwork, or at least speak to your homies about it, because if you don't ever, it's like being in a relationship with like a significant other. If you guys don't speak about your issues and say, you know, and just kind of dish it under the rug all the time, at some point you're gonna have to go look under that rug and figure that shit out, right? So I think with splits, you know, that's just my take on it. But again, being an artist, you don't like taking care of the business side sometimes, but you do. You know, it is the music business, and you get paid off your royalties, and you get paid off the work you put in. So, you know, sometimes you get taken advantage of, or you may come across a situation that you might not get the better end of the stick, but you know, you put yourself in that situation in the day because you didn't set yourself up right, you know. And I think being in rooms that you could trust the people you work with, I think that's very important. Yeah, exactly. So I'll pass it.
I agree with them. I feel like percentages and all that depends on circumstance. However, my advice would be literally as early as you can, handle that paperwork. I don't know why, at least from my experience throughout these years, it's always like it has been the awkwardest like time to bring that up. Like people don't like to talk about it. I don't know what, like it'd be like, I don't know if it's embarrassing or pride, ego, whatever it is, but like no one wants to talk about that early. And I have learned the hard way. Like I've had like 2 projects literally go down the drain because by the end of it, there's like situations where percentages are not right, people are not happy, and then like there was one project, if I could just like give you a testimony of like, I had a feature with like CeeLo Green, and like whoever I was managing, who was managing me, and like you said, a lot of artists don't like to be in the business side, and I was one of them. I did not like to be in the kitchen. I wanted to have fun, I wanted to create, and I was trusting. I had my momager, I had like 2 managers, a lot of people just in it, bringing writers, producers, all that. But when I got back in that kitchen, it was like a fire, like a lot going on. And I realized really quickly, like, one, as artists, we should know what the hell is going on. Always, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter what uncomfortable conversations you need to have, no matter who you think you might disappoint or whatever the case may be, talk about it. Talk about it early. It's better to talk about it early, find out early before you get all attached to music, songs, people. Talk about it. It don't matter. Like, the worst that can happen is someone's upset, like, YOLO. It's, you know, so that's...
Everything in life comes with a sacrifice. And if you don't do it right, life will just take it from you. Like, it won't wait for you to be ready. It'll just take it from you. Splits work differently in different genres and different places. In hip hop and R&B, you can have your relationships and be like, hey, look, I know I wrote 80% of this song. I'm gonna take 80, you're gonna take 20. I live in Nashville now, and it works a little bit different. If I say one word in the studio, I'm entitled to an even percentage straight through. I agree. But I am from Nashville, that's not how I work. But I have no choice but to conform. Now I wanna explain something to y'all. This is super important. It's super uncomfortable to have split conversations, right? We need to make it normal to have these conversations. A lot of producers, and we're so creative, a lot of us in here. But the only reason why people get weird is because they don't know their business for real. That's the only reason why they're uncomfortable having those conversations. They just don't know what they're owed. They don't know what BMI is. They don't know what Sound Exchange, Song Trust. They don't know what a PRO is. Like, you got this shit fucked up if you think that you could just make art and think that God is just gonna bless you with everything you want without having to put in work that you don't want to do. It's work that you just have to do, period. If you guys don't know what a PRO is, that's probably the one thing that is gonna just get you some of the money. It's just gonna get you some. Sign up for BMI, sign up for ASCAP. And some people don't know what splits are. You know, I have a friend, Chrome, right? And I told him, hey, look, like, you remixed one of my songs, I wanna give you a percentage. He's like, oh man, well, I don't have a BMI. I'm like, why the fuck don't you have a BMI account? It does not make sense. Because now you can't get paid, and I'm gonna have a hard time releasing the song. Thankfully, I'm so close with my distribution company that all I have to do is put his email in, and his splits will be set aside. I just set his what percentage he's entitled to his email, and then he has to claim it. But not everybody does that. Not everybody does that. I won't get the money, it'll just go into a black box. It won't be to me, and like I said yesterday, the top 2 people who are getting all of this money is Pitbull and Taylor Swift. All the unclaimed money from all of us. Why? Because they're the highest paid people a part of BMI, and the unclaimed money just goes to them. I don't know why. Somebody asked that question to somebody else that can answer that question, but I'm not that person. All I gotta say is this. If you're gonna work with someone that you don't know, that conversation just has to happen first. It's really simple. If they feel uncomfortable having that conversation, fuck them. I don't care how talented they are. I don't care what they praise. I don't care what they telling you. There's no reason why a split conversation should be uncomfortable. And if it is, y'all should not be working together. It's that simple. Y'all should be able to have a real easy conversation about, hey, look, I'm making a beat, I get 50%. You're writing a song, you get 50%. That's it. You got anybody else on your team that you want to give a percentage to, you could. Out of your percentage. But that don't go to the producer, because the producer don't know what the fuck you got going on, you know what I'm saying? So, that's my answer there.
Yeah, pretty much to what everybody's saying too, and especially what you're saying, Juani, is get it done early. Like literally before you get attached to the music, attached to that one song that you're like, you really believe in, get it done early if you can in that same session. And that's it. Like, that's really all it takes. It shouldn't be an uncomfortable situation. Get it done as early as possible.
So obviously I agree with everybody, especially because you speaking with people who have more experience in the industry. My journey was a little different. I work outside of the industry a lot of the times because I started from an independent route. Again, there was no, for one, the type of music I make, the type of rap wasn't predominant within the mainstream. So it's like, unless you had like a kind of major label, kind of like somebody backing for you in the company, it wasn't like, and then honestly, we wasn't really trying to get signed per se, because again, there wasn't the pipeline of a SoundCloud. And even when SoundCloud came out, the music that was prevalent in SoundCloud wasn't really the typical music that I make, which they would call like aesthetic rap, lifestyle rap, cloud rap, all of these things. So it kind of, for me personally, I kind of learned that lesson later, because like we went from handshake deals where it was like, okay, you work with a producer, if he actually want money, then you pay him up front. And then again, I had a privilege of like, my best friends was my producers, and they actually made the music that was quality. So even like, we have a gold record with 327, that was produced by my cousin. So it's like, this is a person who I grew up with who just gives me beats. And that's kind of how it came out. But that actual song was the lesson I had to learn about splits and about, and I've always heard about BMI and ass capping. We set it up, but like bro was saying, you gotta put in the work, you gotta register each song. You feel me? You gotta learn what the splits is like. There's 200% in the split when it comes to certain things. So a lot of people leave that extra on the table. So it wasn't until we did 327 that we had to figure that out, because it started from a record where it was just me, Wes, and my cousin Monk produced it. So traditionally when I made music with Wes, we just put it out. And then just from the streams and stuff, we make the splits from there. But especially back then, it was like, you just uploaded music. You gonna make more off the tangible things that come from it. And that was kind of our bad. But we kind of didn't anticipate making money from the residual BMIs at a high, scape. So we would be like, okay, we're selling vinyls. We were able to sell digital merchandise and digital product and then physical product. And that's how we made our 10,000, 20,000 up front, where them residuals, them points will get you money every 3 months. So with BMI, when we did the 327 record, again, it started as me and my homies. 2 months later, Joey Badass gets on it. Then maybe a couple days before it actually released, it got leaked, and I found out Tyler, the Creator, is on it. So these is like artists that, for one, they're signed to majors. So off rip, and then these is two eclectic artists. So especially with Tyler, So these are people who are very control of their business. So as clean, as friendly as it looks on the outside, all their business is done on the back end. So now, because of that, I had to go through the process of getting the points. And now it's like, one thing I had to learn was like, when you're in the room, that record wasn't made when everybody was in the room. It started when me and Wes was in Paris. So we made it in Paris. And again, it didn't, we was gonna send it to Erykah Badu. That's what Wes said. So for me, writing the hook, I didn't even think that the song was gonna live. It was just like, yo, a vibe. I'm thinking, shit, if Erykah Badu singing, as long as I get the credit, I'm good, because I know what that's just gonna do for me just personally. I'm gonna figure it out on the other way. But then when these artists got on there, it magnified it. And then one thing I did learn too was me and Joey Badass voice is similar. So when you hear the song, the way he ended his verse, because it's post us making it, he blended in his verse with the way the hook goes. So if you read in the credit and you never seen Bille Essco, you're gonna think like, oh, that's Joey Badass. You're not even thinking, okay, who's the person? But because I have ownership in the song, regardless if you know or not, I get paid. So it don't matter. But that's something where that percentage, them points, the business, will null and void the ego. Because my ego could be like, well, some people don't know that's even me until I say it. Like, oh yeah, no, that's actually, yeah, we wrote that song. Like I actually wrote the song, found the beat. So from a real building a song standpoint, if we was in the studio negotiating with our lawyers, I would get a lot more because, again, I placed the track, I wrote the hook, I built the song. But from a split of like, yo, the homies, and then we got 2 Grammy nominated to Grammy award winning artists on it, it's like, oh yeah, Tyler gonna want, you know, his percent. And who gonna argue with Tyler? You feel me? Joey gonna want his percent because he has a name. Cool, Wes, we don't even care because we gonna get the money in 7 other ways off of this one way. So my experience was different, but because of that, it showed me the value of having your business. Now, the rest of my back catalog is, you know, registered to where I'm making, so every 3 months, I know outside of my distribution that I own 100% of, and I get money from that, I'll be able to be like, yo, I can get my 3 months every 3 months, you know, them February, them Mays, them, and you just look up and it'd be like, oh, damn, I really got paid off of it. Like, it's mailbox money. Like, it come to my account and it's like, oh, shit. I just made some bands on some songs that I made 5 years ago, and now that song 6 years old. You feel me? It just registered for gold. So now that song can grow. So if it hit platinum, then that's more that you get. So you feel me? So it's like, it's good to have your business. And like, I learned from people like y'all because again, there is no industry standard to tell us how to even register a song. Like if it wasn't for my mom being like old school and putting us into music early and just like coming from that, oh, you gotta have a BMI and an ASCAP because you gotta make that like a EPK. You did, where it was like real one-sheeter on the word EPK and you and your body. So all of that is like important. So I just say make sure you have your business no matter what, and just know what level you at to dictate what your business is worth. You feel me?
These is the powerful conversations that we were trying to bring to y'all. You know what I'm saying? We've had, No Label has been about independence. It's about that authenticity. It's about that transparency amongst artists to make each other better. We know how predatory this industry can be, and this is something amazing. Please give them another round of applause. We're at the end of the panel. I just want each artist to just give you a name, and where they can find the music.
So it's Bille Essco on all like streaming platforms. That's Billie, Essco with 2 S's. Nas is the 1 S. And then Uptown Chase on Instagram, cafeseason.com. Cafe Season for the world.
My name is Kevin Alston. You can find me on all platforms at Kevy Kev. That's KEVIEKEV.
I'm Justin Love. You can just find me at Justin Love. Everywhere.
My name is Juani Elise. I'm positive. It's just that it's so long every time so I mean, if you do want to follow me, I'm gonna spell it out for y'all right now. Juanialys. Juanialys. Or after the show, I would love to talk to y'all.
I'm Mike, one half of McKenna. That's MIKNNA. But yeah, that's me for now.
My name is Cash Ali. Everything is at Kinda Unexpected. KINDIA. Unexpected. Except TikTok. KINDIA. Unexpected. It has an ID at the end because someone took the fucking ED at the end. Kinda Unexpected. Everything else. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the ears. Love y'all.
Make some noise for No Label and these beautiful questions, and anybody who helped them with those questions. We got Jay in the building. Shout out Jay. Good, man. All right, I just want to let you guys know we are moving on to Pass the Auxiliary Chord. I need everybody to make your way to that door up there. We have DJ Liberty on the sounds, on the ones and twos. You can make some noise for her.